Welcome to Who's Behind the Camera. I'm Tanya and this is Vlad.
Today we are joined by a successful assistant director who has worked on Ruth, Star Wars and Big Brother and many, many more. Let's have a round of applause for David Underwood.
So firstly, we would like to talk to you about working on such a big iconic franchise like Star Wars. How was that for you?
It was amazing. You can imagine, like Star Wars, everybody knows the production, everybody knows its existence. And I was a little bit overwhelmed the first day I arrived. The sets were huge. There was stormtroopers and aliens and just amazing creatures and just lots of crew. But we're not really supposed to talk about the plot line, but no spoilers.
Yeah, so
but
it must have been
yeah.
huge working with so many different casts and being like, wow, I'm finally here.
Yeah, well, I was very lucky to be working with a lot of friends of mine. We've kind of worked together a lot before, and it was great fun. We definitely had a great time, and I would definitely do it again.
Now, going back to your graduation in 2012, what was it? What were your original plans? Did you for your career path?
I wasn't too sure about what I was going to do when I graduated, but I was coming to the end. It was around about May, and a friend of mine had already started working on Big Brother. She graduated the year before, and I'd already thought about maybe applying for internships at 3 counties or work experience, which was all kind of new to me at the end of my degree because I hadn't done any work experience. But somebody dropped out last minute, and I got a phone call, and it was just as quick and random as that. It was just, can you come in? And a week later, I had a full-time job on Big Brother. I just finished my degree, my dissertation, so I had time. But it was a matter of knowing someone, but also my own hard work when I got there, because you're only trialed and then you can get let go. But
I guess that's why it's important to make connections whilst you're in university, right?
Yes, I mean I didn't make that connection for a career gain. It was completely by chance. But it is very important because you never know where your colleagues or your peers are going to go, and you want to build up a big Rolodex of people because everybody's a contact. So it's also very key to remember. Be nice
So when
to
you were
people.
here, you worked on Radiolab, and when you were working in Radiolab, and obviously then you went to being a runner on Big Brother. Did you take any of your skills across from there? Did you transfer any of your skills, or?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was timekeeping and responsibility. Because if that radio station, we didn't put the programming out or let the DJs in, or keep an eye on the scheduling, then there'd be essentially dead air. And that responsibility was given to us. And if we let the university down, then there was consequences. And that's the same as at work. If you don't do a good job, you don't turn up, you don't put your effort in, then that's transferable, and that's what Radiolab taught me. The schedule and the responsibility. So there was some transferable skills there.
That's good.
Working as a runner, was there a moment when you thought this job is not for me?
The hours are long. Sometimes the environments can be quite brutal. Rain, mud. Yeah. I've worked on many productions where it's cold in the winter. So there's been a few times where I've been a little bit grizzly, but not particularly in a way that I wanted to leave the industry. It's just I started out in entertainment, live shows, programs like Big Brother, Take Me Out, Strictly, and after a couple of years, I then had a taste, experience on a scripted drama. It was a feature film, and I just really enjoyed the way that everybody had their own individual roles, and you were rehearsing until you shot a scene until it was perfect. Whereas with the live stuff, it was still exciting, but the teams are a bit smaller. It just felt different for me, and I preferred the scripted.
So you then ventured on to basically producing The Adventures of Maid Marian. So what was it like to basically be a producer from an assistant director?
The main thing is seniority. Producer is in charge. They're the people that hire and choose the teams and choose the actors and choose. They're very involved with the script. Whereas an assistant director, you still can be very pivotal to the role, to production, but you're kind of an employee. So there's that. It's career progression, really. I love being an assistant director. I will continue to do that. But the producing is a side thing that may eventually become more of a career role. It's the same as why most people get into any industry. They want to progress, be promoted, and that's why. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
and be in charge, you know.
So you just finished working on Ruth, which is a mini-series set to release in 2024. What was it like for you to work on a drama series or as opposed to a film?
A lot of the time it's size. You know, you'll have a drama will be less people. It's episodic, so you'll shoot things, you know, in a different way as opposed to a feature film where there's a lot of sort of stunts and things. But it's they're very similar, but it's usually size and budget depending on, you know, what you're working on. But with Ruth, I loved it. It was great. Yeah.
So obviously you're a freelancer and you're self-employed. How do you find the unpredictability of finding work out there?
I've built up a thick skin.
Okay.
I may have been quite lucky to get Big Brother straight away, and I make it sound effortless, but there's been times where I've had a month, 2 months. Christmas time is quite, you know, the whole industry usually closes down, scripted-wise, usually closes down between the middle of December and middle of January. So you've got to really think about your finances, especially when you're starting out, when you're on less money. So that's you know, one of the hard things, really. It's not always been perfect. I've built up a lot of contacts, and a lot of productions have employed me, but you're only as good as your last job, really. You know,
That's quite a key point.
it's all about contacts. Yeah.
So between the COVID-19 pandemic and the WGA strikes, how hard was it for you to stay employed during these difficult times?
The COVID pandemic was impossible. There was nothing shooting. I had, you know, like everyone else, we were all at home, unsure what to do. Unfortunately, I wasn't eligible for the furlough scheme, which was a pain because I wasn't contracted to a production at the time. It was very difficult. I ended up delivering cars for a few programs, companies like Kazoo, program, like, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But the industry did come back. But at that time, everybody was, you know, I remember I was delivering a car with we worked in pairs. You would hit them up, and then you'd always make sure. He was an EasyJet pilot, so yeah, everyone was in that boat. But it was very hard then. And with the strikes recently, it's been not as hard because there are still British productions shooting, non-SAG. But yeah, I finished Star Wars in July, and then for August, I didn't get any work at all. So you've got to, like I said a minute ago, you've got to have a plan. So recently, with the strikes, I've been delivering parcels for Amazon.
So obviously, during your free time and different things like that, what do you actually like to do, or do you have any hobbies that you like to do within the free time when you're not working, or over the COVID period that you then developed that you now continue doing?
I watch a lot of television. I watch a lot of films.
Okay.
I think like in the last week or two, I think I've cleared about 10 or 11 hours of Sons of Anarchy. But I just like watching programs. That's one of my pastimes. I like swimming, but yeah, it's yeah. I think it's important to watch programs. You know, you could call it research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call it
research.
research.
Well, we all know that social media plays a big role in finding work in this career path. Has social media helped you find your next gig?
Absolutely. Remember I told you about the period of time where I moved from non-scripted live shows to scripted. I kind of made the mistake of, you know, deciding I had a career path of change, but I didn't know many people in that side of the industry, and I told everyone in the previous side, I was like, oh, I want to do this now. And then all of a sudden the work dried up in the entertainment world, but I didn't know anyone in the drama, or not many people. So there was a couple of months where I was like, I'm not sure what to do. But on Facebook, I saw an advert on a jobs page, and it was for a scripted drama, looking for runners, and it was Holby City. Got the job, and I stayed there for a whole year. So that, you know, if I hadn't been on Facebook at that moment, then my journey may have been different. But yeah, Facebook definitely helped me. I don't think it's as much of a tool now. Telegram, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is, there's groups of ADs like me. We're all together in these WhatsApps, and then jobs get posted.
So what's your next step within the industry then?
So I've just started a job yesterday. It's another production for Apple. I'm going to continue assistant directing and hopefully floor seconding, which is higher up, next year. But it's kind of getting close to Christmas now, so it's starting to wind down. But next would be to continue to work on big productions like Star Wars, hopefully.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And maybe make a film afterwards, you know. Keep going, you know. Yeah.
So, unfortunately, this is what we all have time for. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for the audience for watching this, and thank you for the live audience who are watching right now. It was a pleasure to have you, David, with us.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for next week when we'll be having a new special guest who has worked behind the set of Stranger Things. And he will tell us about how Vecna came to be, and hopefully we won't have any grandfather clocks pop out.
So thank you, David. See you next week.
Thank you.